Welcome back, everybody, to a series that is now thoroughly underway as C9 smashed the first game. Woo! They took the Kalista, they took the cannon, they took it all the way to CLG's throat, and they did not stop.
They took the level 1 AD carry fight. They took the level 2 tower dive, support on support tower dive action. That game had it all, baby, except for the side from CLG. So now we need to see what their response is to Cloud9 here. Obviously, a bunch of bottom lane issues, and we said it during the cast, the Kalista, big problem. Yeah, it has 3 less AD, but Berserker didn't make it look like that.
Didn't need those.
Yeah, that's 105 gold's worth of stats, and he got way more than 105 gold's worth out of turning him into pincushion.
I just like looking over. Clayton was like, after the first game, he's like, they can't get Kalista anymore. As soon as Kalista gets banned, he just pointed to the screen. He's like, yeah, you see that? Right?
Yeah. Remember? That was my call.
I identified the issue.
My call. That's not even a scorpion.
Well,
all right.
Okay, so I do think there are other things though. So, you know, especially I know I'm always jungle focused, but
True.
Vi is getting over prioritized against comps where you don't need it yet. It's really good versus Zeri or Twitch or, you know, some carry, low mobility carry that you want to point and click. But if it gets picked early, then we see stuff like this where, oh, now you got to play into all this AoE counter dive and this, you know, cannon stuff like that. That does make it way more difficult. And we saw it yesterday with Team Liquid as well. Swain afterwards. So I think you just need to be a little bit more careful with your jungle picks.
It's not one of those picks that can be played into anything, right? It needs to be set up to succeed. Otherwise, we're going to see that win rate start to drop a little bit. But CLG, they're starting this draft off going for a support pick here in the Lulu. We didn't cover the bans yet. It's Kalista, Poppy, Nautilus, Seraphine, Azir, Yuumi, all banned away. Both Zeri and Sivir are still up. So whoever wants first pick between those two, the other side can have the other one. It's C9 saying we want the Sivir this game.
Yeah, and Berserker, you know, has played a lot of Zeri. I wonder if this is more about taking away what they believe, you know, the pairing that CLG was going for, or if it's really the priority on the champion. Because, of course, Yuumi is banned out, Seraphine is banned out. They're going for the early Vi. Kobe, not a fan.
But because, like you're saying, they have the Lulu, you're like, oh, maybe you're going to go Zeri. Still though, I think, anytime you see it early, now I expect CLG actually to draft some counter dive. It's on CLG now to draft these big AoEs that will make Vi's life difficult.
And they do lock in the Zeri as expected. So, you know, that was kind of what I was thinking. It was going to be the Zeri pairing. It feels like the most obvious. I'm really curious to see what Zven's support choice will be here. Obviously, he has been known more for the enchanters, which is why he was kind of getting target banned with some of that in the first game. Brought out the support Ashe. Actually did more damage than Berserker in the last game. Obviously, a lot of poke, but also really was getting in there with the Hail of Blades. So excited to see if he has more kind of surprise picks.
No hesitation here from Cloud9. Talking about picks, they're going for picks in-game here. Ahri and Vi, those combined to pick people off, stragglers here. And the thing about Trundle is, does look good when you've got some strong lanes to get you priority, get neutral objectives, and you can just bang on people until you get, you know, this gold lead, but doesn't have any escapes. Unless you have flash up, you can't get away from Charm, you can't get away from Vi. Those jungle mid picks here from Cloud9 look scary.
We're saying Trundle kind of just beats Vi over the head with a stick if they run into each other in neutral territory. He's an exceptional duelist. However, it will be interesting to also see this, considering this was the matchup from game 1 in the jungle, just with champions switched. So now we get to see each jungler play the other side. Another one of my favorite things about seeing series play is, all right, who can play this version of League of Legends better? But we do have that Ahri picked for Jensen there. Remember, that was banned out in the second half of the draft in game number 1. LeBlanc was another one of those champions banned out in the second half of draft game 1 that's getting banned again. Lissandra also taken away as something that can be picked into the Ahri successfully. Karma denied by CLG. They want to stop that death ball that can pair with Sivir.
Absolutely, and they're just obviously much more concerned about Zven's enchanters, right? Zven hadn't even played Karma yet this split, and they are still going to take that away. You know, he does have the option to go to something like a Renata. You know, we saw that actually brought out last time, so if he wants to play enchanters, but I don't think he necessarily has to. You can just go more dive. Renata now obviously removed as an option. CLG are saying, we only care about your enchanters.
And that's the way I think Cloud9 will go, because they've got so much charge at you dive composition here. And against Zeri, Vi ultimate, Ahri charging forward, you can lock down that scaling AD carry. Especially, you get an Ornn ultimate on top of it. It's more engaged, layered on here.
This, right? Like locking Ornn blind when you're on red side into Trundle, I just don't really think that makes any sense. Okay, this makes more sense. So it's gonna be a Amumu support here. So it will be the engage option. Big AoE ultimate, more lockdown for the Zeri. Vi goes in with the point and click. You follow it up, lock this guy down so he can't kite you out.
Where is the counter engage here from CLG? It's just so much dive from Cloud9.
Stolen Amumu ult.
Showing over and over and over. Need some counter engage here. Need that big AoE to deal with all the Cloud9 aggression.
Kobe, look what's on the screen.
Let's not
Okay,
get
if
ahead of
they
ourselves.
had locked the Ornn,
Let's
I'd
not-
be with you.
Yeah.
If that Ornn was locked in, I'd be like, hell yeah.
I know you've just been talking about Alawi.
I know.
People are buying Riven bait, y'all are buying Alawi bait, and it ends up just being Renekton. Renekton, 5th pick. I know out there's a lot of people that aren't happy with these types of choices. Renekton has been getting a little bit more popular all over the place recently, working his way back into the meta. Death, taxes, and a lizard in top lane. Some things are just inevitable.
I mean, Renekton is not a bad champion. People really, I think, kind of like overblow, how weak this champion is. I think it's absolutely fine for this style of composition. If they're trying to dive past you, Renekton can create a lot of chaos. It will be Aatrox as the answer here for Fudge. It does feel like pretty heavily a skill matchup from what I have seen of this. So going to be interesting to see who comes out on top because, if one of these top lane champions gets ahead, you really can run over the game, but they're both pretty useless from behind.
So one of the things that I'm concerned for CLG here in this one, Palafox back on the Sylas after a very underwhelming Sylas game in game number 1. I don't feel that his ult choices really hit the mark. I never had a wowie, that was Sylas type of moment. So hopefully he can turn that around and really give us some of those higher highs in this one.
I mean, the Amumu has got to be one of the best ults in the game to steal, right?
Yeah.
The AP ratios on that is very high.
Yeah. That has to be the one because aside from that, yeah, we're not indexing super heavy into like a Swain or Kennen.
Yep.
Giant counter dive there for CLG. So we shall see. Game number 2. This is important. This is pivotal. Cloud9 coming out with a very emphatic win in game number 1. Has to be answered here, or else the momentum just builds so quickly for this best of 5.
And Zven's gonna have to be careful about how he shows, right? Because if you are the one that has that key ultimate, you want to stay out of vision of the Sylas until it's too late. You don't want Sylas to be able to hang on to that Amumu ult. Because Amumu, Gnar, Malphite, those are the big 3 AoE ones that when I'm going to play Sylas, I'm always looking for. People talk a lot about Alistar, but when you're talking about AoE damage, things with crazy AP ratios, those are the big 3 that I think about a lot. Vi can be situationally useful for pick. Ahri can be situationally useful for escape or chase down, but really it is all about stealing the Amumu ult and having that huge effect. If C9's trying to dive in, you hit a multi-man stolen Amumu ult, you could run over this fight.
And I really want to see CLG be able to shake off that game number 1. I think these two teams have both been incredibly volatile throughout the summer split that we've seen so far. They've had some trench-like lows and some heavenly highs. C9 played to their highs in game number 1, and CLG looked a little helter-skelter. This time around, I'd love to see the best CLG play against the best C9.
All right, well, that starts with level 1. Let's see. Any sweepers starting out here we can check on? Doesn't look like the delayed invades are going to be there then. No sweepers, so defensive warding opening up.
I love those chants. It's great to hear CLG getting cheered for again. And as the cheers happen, Tigris is standing by with CLG's coach FLICKR. Let's see what he has to say.
Some wild drafting in game number 1. Tell me, what's the game plan for CLG here in game number 2?
Yeah, I mean, this one we have Sivir Lulu. We know that we're going to have a lot of pressure on bottom as long as they don't get some like cheat skills. And the Trundle is pretty good into a dive comp. So I think it's just, once again, whichever team plays better. I think they got a little bit of the best of us game 1. But even so, they had a huge early lead and threw like 2 or 3 times. So still feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, is that something that you can say the team is feeling confident as well, or was there any kind of pickup that you had to do between game 1 and 2 for morale?
Yeah, I mean, the players definitely recognized we were really behind early, and we had a pretty good comeback. I mean, we had opportunities, especially at second Herald, to just win the fight, and we dove a little bit too far. So we know that it's up to us. As long as we play well, like, we can beat this team.
I know a lot. We're looking forward to watching this bot lane matchup coming into the series. I want to get right back to it, back to the casters.
Okay, we're 2 minutes in. Where's the all-in? Everybody, let's go. Blood in the water. Want to see it. Zven is down here on the Amumu. Little bit of a trade there with Lulu early on. But doesn't seem like there's going to be any crazy jungle stuff because we do have this ward over here from Cloud9. It saw Contractz move over towards the Gromp as well. And Blaber's answering just a full clear on the Vi.
Yep, we have not seen the junglers get involved in a whole lot here just yet. Push for mid lane goes over to the side of C9, while these two side lanes favor CLG. Contractz working his way towards top side. Now you can see the assist me ping coming out in blue colors. That's just Dhokla needing to get this wave crashed in. Blaber's gonna head up towards this area, but you can see Contractz will already be waiting inside that brush. He'll step in. Blaber should be seen now. They do not want to go for this dive any longer. Contractz flashing back. Contractz getting smacked around a little bit. Can Blaber turn around in time? First blood over to C9, jungler for jungler.
At the end of the day, though, I think it's pretty good for CLG because Dhokla walks away with double buffs. Fudge was losing farm during that as he had to actually back off. So it's a massive top lane advantage there for CLG.
The average first blood timer for CLG in the regular season was 3 minutes and 25 seconds. We've beaten that massively in both of these games for this series already. Just flashing in to force the fight. There was no disengage on this tower dive.
No.
You think maybe, some teams would actually walk away once they see the enemy jungler here for the counter? No, they flash into them. It was the difference maker of that one turret shot that got onto Contractz there, though, early.
Yeah.
That made the difference for the first blood race and allowed Cloud9 to pick it up first.
Well, and that's why I like that Cloud9 were so proactive with it. Once they saw they were under tower, they say start fighting, right? Because if they return fire at all, the tower shots are going to be there, but Fudge,
Boys,
he's going down.
we got another problem up here in top lane, and it's Dhokla. The Croc is online, 2-0 for the CLG top laner. Bottom lane's gonna turn into a 2v2 as Luger looks for the bullets. Zven standing in front of Berserker there.
Now, there is teleport for Fudge, so it's not going to be the end of the world, but the wave is in a really good
really
spot
bad.
for Dhokla as well. So pushing away from Fudge, and now Contractz on that gank path again, continues towards mid. Palafox very low on mana here for the Sylas, but hits the chain.
Jensen does not have any mana to work with. He has to flash out at the very end there. Palafox also not having a lot of resources left. I'm loving what Contractz is doing with his pathing in the jungle here in the first 5 minutes of game 2.
I mean, Blaber needs to get top lane. Like, the Dhokla is going to kill Fudge again. The wave is so screwed, and Fudge has been put so far behind by this jungle attention.
Yeah, double buffs here on Dhokla. Got some vision of Blaber on the control ward. The extra vision around your winning lane there, imperative for Dhokla, for CLG. Huge advantage in the 1 versus 1. And he is going for the Gore Drinker build here on Renekton, though. Isn't going for the Blade of the Ruin King rush for those true solos.
But you see Fudge, he had to go Bramble Vest rush. Like, that is not what you want to do, but
No.
you are screwed in this early game now. So it's just about survival at this point because he gets dove, his opponent gets first blood, well, he's zoned off the tower. Then your opponent has a regank, you die again, and he has double buffs. So he's so far down now. Look at the CS. And it's going to just get worse here for Fudge unless he gets some help to be bailed out. There's nothing he can do to come back in the 1v1.
And you see Vi coming up through the jungle, Amumu coming up as well, so help is on the way. Cloud9 going to bail Fudge out here. Dhokla surrounded.
Yeah, there's no way out of that one. Shutdown goes over to Blaber, so they'll at least be able to punish Dhokla for this proxy farming that he was doing between the two turrets. It's 2-2 game, CLG with a modest gold lead. Bottom lane, not the focus this time around. It's on the other side of the map where everybody's going.
Absolutely, and that's a bit of a silly death from Dhokla. They have no vision at all in this top side, right? You're looking at this jungle. He sees nothing, and he's trying to proxy farm at that point with a bounty on his head, with support and jungle not seen. You know, giving up that death is a big deal. Thankfully for him, it didn't go to Fudge, so Fudge is still going to be massively behind and be losing that 1v1, but it's a lot of gold there for Blaber, who's both up in farm and in kills. So Blaber has the opportunity to try to be active on the map here and really get that game going for Cloud9.
Yep, definitely a big loss in momentum for CLG. The sweeper does see that ward, so CLG know that they've been seen on this invade. Poome's still going for it, though.
Well, he's gonna face check the brush with Blaber waiting. Palafox coming around behind him. Worth pointing out that Contractz' spam ganking between the two solo lanes has left him under-leveled here a little bit. You can see Poome is actually higher leveled than Contractz right now as CLG moves in, looking to steal away the enemy blue buff. Contractz gonna chomp that one, gets level 5 off of it, tries to stop Jensen from getting in, but a nice engage from Zven, or is it? Zven's gonna die here, but it's a 1-for-2 so far as CLG's still ready to fight. Make it 2-for-2 when it's all said and done.
And 2-for-2 with top laner down there is actually very beneficial for CLG. A giant double-stacked cannon wave here for Dhokla into the tower, so he's going to get turret plates as well as deny some minions here. Fudge walking up, cannon will go into the dirt, couple of melees will be lost as well.
I mean, Fudge is completely out of this game, to be honest. Like, there's just no way around it. The game has gone too bad for him. You know, all of the jungle attention coming up there, him not getting any of the kills on the back end of those plays means he is very, very far down.
And on a champion like Aatrox, too, compared to something like Ornn or Sejuani, this champ feels really bad when you don't have the money to go in there and be that massive drain tank to disrupt everything in the fights.
And a big part of the reason why that actually went well for CLG, even in a 4-on-5 bottom lane, is because we got that Amumu ult steal on the Sylas that we were looking for. Able to create so much space, even though Zven, not level 6, can't use it himself. Used against them more effectively. And when you have a top lane that is winning this heavily, it's a very easy snowball to just go over to Rift Herald. Extra 200 gold on this sucker, so much priority here for CLG.
And we haven't talked about it yet, but the C9 bot lane is struggling in this one. They're down 30 CS. Yes, there is some minions to actually farm down on that bottom side, but just straight up in that 2v2, Berserker and Zven are getting way, way down. You know, not able to actually look for any sort of all-ins. So when you can't look for all-ins, Amumu adds basically nothing in this lane, right? Every time he goes in, he gets poked heavily by Zeri and Lulu on the way out, and they're just falling further and further behind here, despite having that early kill. He was down at the bottom of the gold charts.
Yeah, also, it's a big portion of that was because that fight broke out at Dragon in River with the wave in a really bad spot for Berserker and Zven, so they lost a bunch more CS during that skirmish.
Man, oh man, this is quite a different look from game number 1.
That's what we expected, Flowers, baby. You wanted volatility? We're going to have one team smashing the first game, the other team 1,000 gold up here 9 minutes into the other game.
Well, the thing that I'm also thinking about is what we heard from FLICKR as Poome gets caught. Jensen comes in for the follow-up, but Poome's ready to flash and heal to get to safety. Palafox ready to turn things around. Blaber's already extended himself very far. A wild growth for the interrupt on the Vault Breaker, and they'll break his jaw instead. Palafox gets.
And the action don't stop there. Poome, he flashes, heals away. He's like, we're back in. Blast cone back the other way. Palafox wants it. He gets it. Ahri ultimate stolen this time around for the chase down in the smaller skirmishes. The extra gap closer making the difference here. And Counter Logic Gaming turning this series back around.
And that's such a big deal because that's the strongest member for Cloud9. Blaber is the guy who's gotten all their gold, and he has not been able to find anything with it here at all.
They've got a Rift Herald. They can push really heavily already on their strong point. You know, Zeri is such a good marksman to put a lot of money early in. All they have to do is keep him around for the charge. Should be fine.
Yep. Nothing to that one. Berserker and Zven gonna try to clear these out, try to keep up. But 700 gold lead for Luger over Berserker. What was FLICKR talking about? Hey, we were down early. All we gotta do is play to the level we know we can play. We can beat these guys. And they're beating them here in today's early game in game number 2.
See, last game we were down early. All we gotta do is be up early, and it'll be better.
This is the way they get it done. CLG, 2,000 gold ahead. Also, no early Drakes this game. Just about 11 minutes in, still have that first Drake waiting in the pit. CLG content to keep focusing on player-based objectives instead of neutral ones.
And this is one of these frustrating things is that when the enemy top lane gets ahead and he just starts walking your jungle and taking your camps. We saw Dhokla farm the Raptors, then he goes and takes the top side scuttle. So Blaber's down on bot side covering his bot lane, you know, from a potential dive, and he's losing all his top camps there to Dhokla, who could not be contested in the 1v1. There's nothing Fudge can do about it.
No.
So it becomes very, very difficult.
Yeah, could bait him into a 1v2. Definitely not going to be the same look here as he tries to heal up, and he gets away as well. Fudge cannot continue the chase. Nice outplay to survive from Big Dope.
Yeah, and the critical part there, he doesn't get lazy, even though he flashes under tower. Still dodges the sweet spots on those Qs. Cloud9 could have followed up if he had gotten that first hit, but good jukes there from Dhokla. Just walk out of them while you're under your tower. Does cost him flash for the Aatrox and Vi ultimates, and of course his own ultimate used in the process as well, but teleports right back to it with the completed Gore Drinker.
Exactly. Now that the Gore Drinker is there, that's going to give him more healing in both his basic trades against the Aatrox that he's already slamming in the 1v1, as well as giving him that better burst survivability the next time C9 wants to try to make a play on him.
I do think that the key there is the next time Cloud9 wants to make a play on him, because you burned his flash, and Dhokla's been playing so aggressively, really far pushed up. If he continues to proxy farm, continues to push up so heavily, this time around, no flash, no ultimate, and no teleport to get back to lane. So if you could get a repeat gank on him while flash is down, that would be meaningful in getting Fudge right back into this game on the Aatrox, because, like you said, it's still going to be painful for him regardless.
And that's why Dhokla's just pulled the wave, right? And he's just holding it in a freeze, because that way you hold it outside your tower. He has cleared it out just now, but he had, full stacked wave there. And I think with Jensen missing, he then knows he has to actually clear out that wave. But, he wants to play it close to the tower, and C9 looking like they want to push up and try to go for it anyway. Renekton ulti is about to be available, though. I think this is a hard dive.
He doesn't have the ulti yet, and the rest of CLG is on the other end of the map taking the Drake. A TP comes in to try to save Dhokla, who gets the dominance in time, but he cannot survive. Zven will not be ever frost-rooted a flash away. Palafox won't get a kill back.
Great stopwatch into flash there for Zven. CLG don't get anything out of it. Nice dive for Cloud9 in payment for the dragon. One dragon picked up for CLG. Zeri, though, continuing to push on bottom side. So CLG also getting the Zeri more money. And just look at that. Luger resetting back to base is going to be way more fed. Here's the dive once again, though.
And I like that Cloud9 don't wait on it, right? You have to go immediately if you're going to go for a play like this with TP coming in. I initially thought the stopwatch was wasted, but the flash out keeps him safe there, and Cloud9's repeat ganks back to back to back up towards top lane, trying to keep Fudge in this game, have done a good job of digging him out of the hole somewhat, but because Cloud9 is losing on the other side every time they go top, like you're talking about, Kobe, the advantage is not really getting smaller.
And that little delay on the Everfrost is really hard to time there when you're coming out of a stopwatch. Couldn't quite get it, and so Zven, of course, did escape with his life, but when Amumu doesn't have flash, for an offensive Amumu ultimate, sometimes it is really difficult for a support Amumu. You're way squishier to actually get inside for one of those really good Amumu ults. So we'll have to see about the placement next time around.
Well, keep your eyes on the inventory of our favorite little sad short fella from a pyramid somewhere, because he's got the ingredients for an hourglass in his inventory. This looks like he's not going to be going for a mythic, instead for one of those big playmaking options that'll allow him to just yeet himself in there haphazardly. It doesn't matter if you're squishy if they can't kill you, and the fight will be over by the time you're vulnerable.
Absolutely. I think it's actually really smart, right? He just knows he has got to get in there and be able to put that ulti down. Maybe going to get chased out here. Not going to be wanting to face check that brush, but CLG will definitely get the Herald and continue taking those neutral objectives time and time again here. Looking really, really good early on in game number 2. 2.5K up. Top lane tower is dead if you just drop this. So that's going to put it up to around 3K if they want to actually drop this down here. CLG in full control.
Nicely done from Counter Logic Gaming. Jensen falling back, recognizing this might not be the safest place to be. Assist B pings coming down. They really want to take this on CLG's side. They're up 1-0 in turret count. There's still plenty of standing gold to be found. Blaber vault breaks back over the wall just to make sure CLG can't punish him here.
The timing there definitely good for Dhokla. Luger the target.
Not good for Luger, though. Tried to cleanse it, but the immediate follow-up of Jensen's charm says no. C9 gonna take the mid lane tier 1 and the enemy AD carry.
And I love the aggressive play there. Jensen was already flying in with the ulti as Blaber is going for this. Good communication from C9. Luger thought he was safe because he has cleanse and he's pretty close to a wall, but Cloud9 don't hesitate and they burst him down.
Exactly, though. That's why you pick the Vi. You cannot get out of that. Ultimate is going to guarantee you that pick, and that's what we're talking about in Champ Select with Ahri Vi. That is a guaranteed pick. It's kind of on cooldown there, looking for the Zeri. The question will be, can you get enough out of that pre-dragon setup? Because a minute and a half only left on the next one. And CLG have just snowballed neutral objectives. Both Rift Heralds, the first dragon of the game, and now they want to move it on down to second dragon of the game. And Luger did save his flash, so he used his cleanse.
And this is where what Isaac brought up earlier, I think, is going to start to play more and more of a role as we get towards these larger team fights and bigger overall conflicts between the teams over these objectives. Can Zven avoid having that Amumu ulti stolen too early? Can you limit Palafox's options on when and where he wants to use that? As you'll see, the mid wave getting pushed up now by Luger. Poome hanging around nearby to try to protect him. Yes, Vi will always be able to point and click on Zeri to try to take her out with the ulti, but Lulu can be a big help. Polymorph the Vi, wild growth the Zeri, let her fight her way out.
Absolutely, and it feels like Cloud9 now have stabilized somewhat, right? We already have the Mythic done, Tier 2 boots done, and everything for Fudge. He is behind, but not so massively, and yes, Berserker is still down 20 CS, but at this point, with Cole cashed out, he's close to his PD, he has great wave clear, he's not being bullied anymore, so So Cloud9 slowing down the pace of the game here and just going to continue looking for picks on cooldown like Kobe was talking about.
Yeah, the gap has not widened for CLG. Cloud9 actually closing it and catching up a significant amount. And the key to me is the vision. Last game, vision for Cloud9 won them so much, and there are just wards all over this dragon setup. Meanwhile, CLG pop the Herald, and they're going to make a strong push mid instead of walking into the Cloud9 vision position on dragon.
Well, the Herald alone cannot kill this turret. It was still at mostly full HP. So C9 can clear that one out before they take any significant damage or have real consequences here. They're trying to poke and a little bit back over the wall as Luger gets jumped on.
Here comes
Moving to try to save him. He flashes away, staying alive, but Blaber is still looking. Blaber wants the kill, but he can't find it just yet. Stopwatch keeps Luger alive, and Dhokla kills off Blaber. Palafox wants to get away, but he cannot do it. It's 1-for-1 so far. Contractz with a flash over the wall, and Jensen with a dash to follow. Contractz gets shielded and barely stays alive as Dhokla has to escort everybody else away. It's 1-for-1, but C9 have the health bars, and C9 win the Drake.
Very close fight, narrow margins on either side. Multiple people could have gone down. It is just that 1-for-1, but it was really well done by Zven, and I think that really highlights what I was talking about, how he's playing in fog until the very moment he's ready to go in. And Palafox had to use his ulti to actually steal away the Aatrox ulti because he was already under a lot of fire. Didn't have the ability to ever get the Amumu ult in that fight, and it made such a difference as Zven hits that 3-man Amumu ult, and it's still just a 1-for-1.
And the initiation for Cloud9 with Blaber getting that Vi ultimate onto Luger. I think as Luger, you have to instantly flash. He jumped the wall as Zeri, but instantly flash the Vi even deeper, and maybe then the Ahri can't follow up. Because look at this, Vi ultimate, and then the Ahri does follow up, and that charm hits. All this time with the charm is so much extra damage. Then flashing afterwards, CLG try and peel, and as you say, that Amumu ult from Zven, catching 3 members, so a lot of damage dealt to the front line. There, wow, they kite backwards. Palafox then left on the other side, so it ends up being the 1-for-1, but bigger advantages for Cloud9 in the health department allow them to pick up the dragon. So the dragons get evened up 1-for-1, and the gold lead is fairly small at this point.
Absolutely. And Jensen is quietly having a very good game. You know, he is very close now to his Shadow Flame when he hits that second item. He has full spell pen built. This is not the kind of supportive style of Ahri we normally see with CDR boots and Everfrost. This is Luden's Shadow Flame Sork boots. Max burst here.
Because you have to kill, and you don't need any more CC, you have a Vi. This is why you pick the mid jungle Vi plus Ahri. Ahri is the follow-up damage. You need every little bit, last bit of damage.
Every little last bit of damage, damn it.
Everything, every little bit of juice you got.
Well, they are juiced up and ready to kill this Zeri whenever they can. Luger must be alert at all times. Blaber can always come jumping out of the shadows as the Sivir ulti is used, and they're making a wild sprint up to top. They want to stop him before he can TP away, but he's already gone. Jensen gets out alive.
The Shirelia squad coming for you. Nice little bit of vision there for Cloud9, allows Jensen to teleport out.
But still, great play, right? You're just trading the Sivir ult for a TP. That's a positive for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the Shirelia is active there because the CLG side, the ones with the extra little bump up.
Mr. Amumu. Mr. Amumu, you're not looking so good. Or are you? Contractz bites off too much. And Zven stays alive with an hourglass. He goes right back in, looking to bring his team something more. Palafox with another Ahri dash away to get away from the charm, but here comes Blaber. It'll get immune, and now he's very far forward. But is he still going to get punished? No, he's not. Palafox wants to get out back over the wall. Dhokla finds his way into the melee. He has no backup. He's not going to get the kill. Oh, back over to Fudge, and CLG's lost 3.
You're kidding me? Blaber survives that, Kobe?
They peel for him. Blaber lives, and guess what? Cloud9 retain control of the map. Another team fight victory. Now they're pulling ahead.
Oh man, the team play there from Cloud9 so good. You know, Zven, the patience to bait this out. They don't have eyes on where Jensen is. Jensen just walks up, hugs the wall, and then waits, nails the charm, the CC chain on top of it, bursting him down. Zhonya's on the laser from Luger. Palafox goes in, but it's another chain hitting, and it's full commitment. The call is, going in. Everyone piles in here from Cloud9 as the TPs arrive.
Vi ultimate all the way across the map there for Blaber. Did get immune by the stopwatch. And then this is what you're talking about. When Dhokla comes in with the flank, you think, all right, he's going to end up one more. But Blaber, Q bumps him to gain some space, walks out of the ultimate, barely survives there. And Cloud9 retaking control.
Yeah, look at the
Jensen.
damage of Jensen's Ahri. This guy is having an awesome series here in these first 1.5 games. Drake is alive in 1 minute. It's currently 1-1 on those counts. Palafox goes for the Everfrost, but he won't find Jensen. Fudge is not here, and he has no teleport, so C9 do not want to take a full-on fight just yet. Blaber charging up Vault Breaker. Luger is the one closest to C9, so CLG got to reposition a little bit here. Charm flies out. Luger walking away. That was Ahri ulti in exchange for no larger cooldowns from Luger. CLG will take that.
And that's actually a big one because 30 seconds away on this Dragon setup here, Cloud9 now with no follow-up from the Ahri. The biggest thing for C9 has been that synergy, setting up the Ahri with either the Vi or the Amumu, guaranteeing these skill shots land.
Jensen might be in that brush. I'm not sure if he's still in there or if he's actually backed it up. Okay, he has backed it up, so it is pretty dicey. I mean, obviously the Ahri ult is huge, but if you get tagged with a charm out of the brush,
Fudge steals the red away from Luger, but at what cost? World Ender used, Flash used. That Aatrox will be much weaker here in this upcoming team fight. There is no World Ender for Fudge. There is no ulti for Ahri just yet either. Jensen's still waiting on 1/4 of that cooldown. CLG taking their chance, moving onto the Drake. Dhokla has no Dominus. Blaber's over the wall. He's ready to fight for this. CLG back up. C9 still squaring off with them. Blaber's over the wall. Who's he gonna look for? Who's he gonna find? Dokla's not super strong here in these fights. Blaber goes over, Blaber goes in, Blaber goes down! And now Zven's looking to counterattack, but he's gonna die too! Palafox ready to make this one keep happening. CLG wants to fall back, and they're gonna lose one in the process. Dhokla goes down, Berserker gets the kill. Luger's on the hunt, and he shuts down Fudge. 3 dead on C9, but it's about to be a second death for CLG. Never mind, Poome with a nice bait. Stays alive for now. Contractz and Palafox chasing after him, and Palafox is still ready to go. Jensen gets shut down, and CLG just won a fight that leads to a Baron.
Forget the Dragon! Baron's the name of the game! CLG! They started out with a huge chunk onto the front line onto Fudge, who uses World Ender, heals up off the Honey Fruit and the Dragon, but then Blaber goes into the pit fairly early, and CLG blow him up.
this series is insane so far. So back and forth. You're almost a kill a minute here in game 2. Berserker gonna help them actually secure this. But yeah, Blaber trying to go over the wall. They knew Dhokla had no flash, no ulti, but he makes the wrong read here on the juke. Dhokla stepping down as he vault breakers up. They wanted to try to burst him down. Zven gets a huge multi-man ult, but they don't have the damage to follow up there as Fudge does not have his ulti, and Blaber is already down.
Yep, when one piece misses, then you don't have that follow-up, and the charm was absorbed by Dhokla on the front line, so CLG were protected this time from the Cloud9 engage, not getting the first Q to hit over the wall, pretty huge, and Palafox teleports in, very smooth with his jump forward into the steal on the Ahri ultimate to pick up the extra kill. And now the question is, how much can they actually get done with this Baron buff for CLG? Because they did give up the permanent dragon, which is worth more than it used to be. But 1.6k, the current Baron power play, tower should start follow here and increasing it.
Man, I gotta praise good support plays whenever we see them, because a lot of times they get overlooked. Poome's stopwatch baits Jensen's Ahri, the unstoppable Ahri. 12,007,942 quadrillion damage a team fight, not happening because of a little golden statue of a Lulu. That is very, very important in that moment, and CLG, now they're looking to push down these turrets, take whatever they can. They have not killed a single tier 2 thus far. That is a lot of standing gold they can look to collect.
Yeah, and they have Jensen pushing on this bot side, so they're trying to force a response down in bot lane, and then maybe look for an odd number play up on top side. But Berserker is the main wave clear here. You can see Palafox is threatening a flank, and Zven used the Zonius by accident there.
Ooh, that's definitely not what they wanted to be doing, as C9 will at least keep the tier 2 standing top side.
Yeah, now he doesn't have his Zonius or his flash to reposition for a bigger Amumu ult. And the big difference here in the items is the Infinity Edge being done for Luger. whereas Berserker still just has the pieces. So that's a huge DPS increase, just being able to complete that item, and the secondary turrets do fall.
Oh, Contractz half HP, but Zven's gonna die first. There's that lack of stasis. Contractz still alive thanks to the subjugated wild growth. Here comes the stolen ulti. They're going in looking for the kill. Palafox with a nice stasis of his own. Dhokla tanking on the front line. And CLG went too far. Berserker's ready to punish him. And it's a shutdown on Sylas with a follow-up back onto the Renekton. Both solo laners
He's
gone.
goes soon. They're gonna keep going.
are not done yet. They'll still keep chasing him out. Not gonna get anything just yet, but keep your eyes on Blaber. He dashes over the wall. Can he find an angle to get in without just dying?
Ghost is up.
Breaker wants to come out. Flash Q! They'll force the flash out of Luger. C9 finally giving up the ghost.
Berserker says, who needs the Infinity Edge? All I need is the front line, and CLG, they dive too deep towards the tower there. Their front line goes down. Counter, Logic, Gaming, see about the recovery here. That Baron power play chunked right back down to only 2,000. Cloud9 will get another turret. They'll cut it down even further. And Berserker, he's gonna go finish his Infinity Edge after this recall. So those Sivir bouncing boomerang blades are gonna do way more. Here it is again though. Zven goes in, you said it, no stopwatch. This time he dies.
Yep, it's a one-way trip. The TP does arrive. Blaber is low, Jensen is low. CLG says, all right, dive deep here. But the early flash from Jensen pulled Palafox in so far. The peeling here keeps Jensen alive. Look at Berserker the whole time, max damage there onto Dhokla as he tried to come in for support.
Yep, and Dhokla trying to walk sideways. I think he had the Aatrox chain. Right, wow, Berserker's just autoing him over and over. Cloud9 now, they're the position because they got that second dragon in trade for the Baron, and then the Baron didn't result in actually that much gold, that they can start stacking here. Only a minute and 20 seconds for the third one to their name.
And Infernal, even just the individual Infernals, are such high value for Cloud9's team. Because even Amumu is building AP. It's like all 5 members are actually getting value from every Infernal, which is a really rare situation in Pro League.
And CLG have to figure out something to deal with Berserker now. 5 kills on Berserker. Sivir almost level 16 as well. Not only did he complete the Infinity Edge, but also got armor penetration with the last Whisper there on that recall. So Berserker is going to pump out damage for Cloud9.
Alrighty, 2,500 gold lead for CLG. 45 seconds till our Drake. C9 are already planting vision in this bottom part of the map, around this river, here in the jungle, making sure they're ready for whenever the fight breaks out. The last Drake fight, Blaber jumped into the pit, wasn't able to find himself in a good enough spot, and that was the fight that ended up leading to CLG's Baron. C9 wants to play this one a little bit better, and vision control is the foundation of any of these neutral objectives. Palafox steals away the Amumu ulti.
Keep your eyes on Luger for CLG. He has no flash on the Zeri, so positioning is very important and very difficult here for Luger versus the Vi, Amumu, Ahri dive that is coming for him.
All right, TP showing up, and we're gonna have Fudge joining everybody else from C9 as Dhokla walked his way over to be a part of the fight for CLG too. The lines are drawn here across the middle of the river. CLG on the left, Cloud9 on the right. Both sides are going to be trading poke here a little bit, I would have to assume. Palafox sidesteps Charm, still gets hit by the Q. Now it's Dhokla, ready to maybe fight, but Berserker's used the ulti. Berserker trying to get away. CLG jump in, double stasis coming out now. Luger's under pressure. Luger is really trying to kite this one away, but he's shut down as Contractz trying to get out. And CLG finds the kill back onto the Cloud9 AD carry. Dhokla wants to heal. He'll stay alive for now. Contractz still dealing damage as Jensen's going to be taken out. Can Fudge do it? But they try to get Blaber in, but he's polymorphed, and he falls! Fudge will not be able to 1v3! He steps back, he's kept alive by the Sterix. CLG still hanging around, still hanging out. Fudge, he's behind enemy lines, and he's walking towards the wrong base. Polymorph hits him. Contract's gonna lead the way. Everfrost root strikes true, and there's E2. 8 to Contractz. Dub for CLG.
My God, that team fight was both AD carries getting focused so hard that when Berserker gets flashed on by Dhokla and he gets the empowered Renekton stun on him, Luger actually jumps over the Dragon Pit wall into melee range of the enemy.
Watch how aggressive Luger plays this.
It's all about this. So Berserker gets flashed on, and then Luger comes over into melee range of the Vi and the Aatrox to try and finish off Berserker, but Berserker kites it out. Then with the triple stopwatches on the front line. CLG, though, they still focus. Palafox, even with the flash miss on the the Amumu ultimate, still gets close enough to finish off Berserker and take down that huge damage sword.
Jensen, though, critically, he didn't have a tag on Dhokla, so he comes in with the ulti there, didn't get the reset. I'm not sure if the ulti resets expired or if he couldn't hit him to get the assist, but he doesn't get the reset to get back out. He was out of ulti charges as he entered that skirmish. We're back to live, and CLG are on the Baron here. Cloud9 are running over, but Blaber's bot lane, this is gone.
There's no Cloud9 anywhere. I'm looking for him. I don't see him. This Baron goes down, no contest, and CLG, in one of the most back and forth games, is now back in control again. 5,000 gold up. Drakes are tied. Where do we want to see him push with this? Do we want to see him pick up
Straight
that
into top lane, Flowers are already here.
To the top. All
They're
right.
already here. Let's go. Looks like they're going to be able to get the chain here.
Oh, Palafox chunking Fudge down. They get the Sterix too. That's going to be a big passive not available now.
I mean, that's death cap for Palafox. He has so much AP. If he can get Zven's ulti stolen here, land a big one, that could be lights out for Cloud9.
But why did not CLG just push on that tower? It was a split pushing jungler. Blaber was showing bottom. The Vi was bottom. There was a wave here with Baron buff, and they don't hard push towards the inhibitor turret. Now Blaber's been able to recall, and he's got a Guardian Angel on the Vi. One of the most important items here, once you go in, you've got that extra revive, so he can fully commit to diving Luger.
It may be that CLG wants to spend their gold, because actually more of their gold than they have in a total lead is in their pockets right now. They haven't spent up, so it is a little bit risky to be fighting Cloud9. As far as actual purchase stats right now, Cloud9 is about even.
What? Okay.
He zoned you so that you can't steal the Amumu ultimate.
Yeah, remember, when Sylas goes to steal your ultimate, it is that projectile chain that comes out to hit you.
Oh.
You can projectile pop it as long as it is in the air.
I wonder if if he did that earlier when we thought it was a waste of Blaber in trouble.
Blaber's going in. He's already resurrecting, and he's not going to find any target else. He's not going to find any target on himself this fight. I'm still looking to see where it goes. Jensen goes over the wall. Zap hits him. He's at 60%. Palafox, this time, he gets what he came for. C9 have lost one.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard hold here for C9. So much now on Berserker to be that wave clear here. CLG have so much money to spend, but they want to crack an inhib here with this Baron buff. They feel like that is critical to closing out this game. And now they're looking for the wraparound. Palafox with the Amumu ulti. They're threatening.
5v4. Zven throws out a chain. He's not going to find it there, but a big three-man ulti stolen by Palafox.
But look at Berserker!
Back into C9, but Berserker's ready to fight.
He's
got
shredding
no
him!
health bars. He's ready to bounce that thing around. There goes Poome. There goes Dhokla. There goes CLG, and there goes Berserker. Contractz, he's the target. Bunch of Berserkers still chasing. Luger and Contractz want to get the hell out of here.
Don't get distracted! The AD carries are what you need to dive in this game, and Berserker lets it rip. Now, how much can Cloud9 get on the counter push?
And this is what I was talking about. CLG were on that push. I just checked it, 8,000 gold that they hadn't spent. So they were actually down, 3,000 to 4,000 gold in actual combat stats. They've spent it up now as they have died. But C9 are going to be the ones to crack the inhibitor here. Berserker gets ignored, and he makes them pay.
Yeah, not enough patience there for CLG. You can see they zoned Cloud9 fully away from the inhibitor turret, but with the stolen Amumu ultimate, somebody made the call, and they went deep, all in, and it ends up costing them first inhibitor.
Okay, there's your stopwatch from Contractz to get him in a decent spot as they tried to engage with Blaber's ulti. Now they don't have that for Luger. Zap flies
Dhokla
out.
has teleport. There's one very long ward, but it's all the way up here. They don't want to go for it. Dragon is coming up fairly soon.
And Cloud9 don't want to get caught in the same position that CLG just did, because they have so much gold to spend now. 2K on Fudge, 2,400 there on Berserker. They want to get back to base, spend up, and try to actually get out here for this Dragon. I'm going to be interested to see if they even try to contest. They're heading right there, but it is going to be a very late contest. They have no vision, so they're going to have to try to push out mid, get down through that bot side, and get in there if they want to go for it.
Okay, Lord Dominic's regards completed for both of our AD carries. Stopwatch in one inventory, BF sword in the other. Zven's ulti, huge for both sides here. Palafox still waiting on his own ult cooldown. Wants to be able to steal that one away again if he can for this fight. There, oh, okay, there it is again. Your stasis, Zap's not gonna line up with that one. Would have chunked him a little bit. Drake spawning now. CLG with control over the immediate area. Cloud9 moving everybody in. Blaber is around the back of the pit, just like he's done before. Drake gonna be started up here by C9. Palafox looks for Blaber, forces him to jump over the wall into that pit, remove the angle. We are gonna have a smite fight, it looks like, over this. Berserker still DPSing, Dragon resetting. Fudge over the wall here a little bit. They try to steal that Amumu ulti again, and this time Palafox has it. Blaber's in the pit. The Drake's at 3K. C9 jumps Fudge over the wall, and Drake's gonna go their way as Jensen secures it. Zven tries to go in, but now you got Contractz in the fight. They're into the back line. They got Berserker. He's down. He's gone, and C9 will follow. CLG just found the fight.
They don't have minions mid to push with, so they would have to go bottom to get that minion wave. Jensen and Fudge are still on the run for Cloud9. The super minions are in towards the CLG Nexus. Teleport forward for Fudge. He wants to go with those super minions to put pressure on CLG. It's the recall for Dhokla to answer, and the bottom lane push.
Oh my god, that fight was crazy. So, you know, Palafox gets the stolen ulti. We saw early on in that fight, Zven using his Zonius to actually deny the ultimate steal, but he gets it as he's in the stasis. Now it's a deep TP to try to actually catch out Fudge here. Palafox trying to take over.
Okay, it's World Ender versus World Ender. Oh, man! I wanted to see this big battle and drain tanks and big wins.
Is there going to be a lazy recall? No.
No, he's running. He's getting
out of there.
If that man TP'd for you, he will rage chase you 100%.
That was like one of those MMA fights that everybody hypes up for a month, and then one guy gets knocked out 10 seconds into it, and you feel like you wasted your money. All I needed was that E2 to hit.
Well, let's keep on fighting. CLG, pop the blast code. Another Baron under attack.
It's just gone. I mean, Blaber's going towards bot side. C9 don't have any vision on this. Is back-to-back Barons now. Pretty much fully uncontested here. And Palafox
This party
is crazy strong.
doesn't stop rocking, okay? This party keeps on going. My goodness, what a series here. CLG this time around up 7,500 gold after all these shenanigans. Super minions will be cleared out again as the inhibitor is very close to respawning.
And look at Luger. He actually buys us Zonias on the Zeri here. So he has the answer. It's not the GA, it is the Zonias for Blaber. You get ulted, you just immune it. I think it's actually a smart buy. And Zeri has good AP scaling, especially on the W. Those zaps are gonna be insane.
It does mean that the timing for following up after the Zeri Zonias could be critical still. If you can still time it well, there could be secondary engages. I'm definitely looking forward to this team fight to see about the layering there, because Zven's survival has become very difficult with him using his Zonias over and over to deny Palafox the early steal on his ultimate. But the Sylas ultimate, when it gets denied like that, comes back so quickly that Palafox has still been able to get it.
Okay, boys, 8,000 gold for CLG, but Cloud9 has been fighting back against them the whole game. They've got a 6-item Sivir. That doesn't really care a whole lot about gold leads. If Berserker gets the angle to free fire, it's still scary. Look at the zap. There you go, Isaac. There's that AP ratio.
Change in strategy for Zven. He's saving his Zonias this time for the fight. He's not using it early. He knows.
That's 2,000 damage and 2 Ws there.
Yeah.
Basic ability, by the way.
Zeri, by the way.
Guaranteed crit through structures is definitely feeling it there for Zven. Inhibitor number 2 down for Cloud9 as well.
All right, Berserker spell shields the next zap. CLG will use this Baron. They will use this momentum to secure 2 inhibitors with the Drake spawning in a minute and a half.
So the gold lead is huge for CLG, but we are unironically in this stage of the game where the gold lead starts to matter less and less because they're capped out on items. There's nothing left for Palafox and Luger to buy. They're already fully at 6 items. There's about 2,500 gold between them that's just going to sit in pockets and be used for additional potions, maybe swap out an item later. But the longer this game goes on, Cloud9 has more people who can really utilize that gold.
And you saw how much damage that means for this fully built Sylas. He basically one comboed Berserker in the last fight, jumped into the backline with the stolen Amumu ultimate, and was able to get that one shot off. But CLG, they push out. 2 inhibitors down now for Cloud9. So only thing left standing, their defense on the top half of the map as we get to our next dragon. Cloud9 are the ones where this actually means Dragon Soul.
And as we're talking about upgrades, Palafox sold his homework, he got rid of his 14-page book, and he bought a Banshee's Veil instead. That spell shield to help him when he jumps in, not be bursted down or charmed up or punished so quickly.
Both Palafox and Contractz also previously on Cloud9, playing for the organization, so some extra added benefit as people are bringing up the revenge arcs coming through here, and CLG down 1 game in the series, but in a position here, very, very advantageous. Cloud9, though, coming, see if they can get their Dragon Soul. The Infernal would be huge.
If I'm Cloud9, I give up this Dragon. I think you just wait it out because there's already 3 members on CLG that are 6 items, and you can actually continue to build Jensen, build Fudge, get to 6 items yourselves, and look to fight at the next Dragon. But it'll be interesting to see if they're willing to kind of mark their line in the sand right here and commit to it while they're down a full item on both their soul laners, and really on their jungler, they're down a little bit too.
Okay, CLG's got control. They've got the river, they've got the Drake, they've got this taken care of. C9 doing exactly what you guys are talking about. They do not want to risk everything on a Drake that will mostly be inconsequential.
Because if you lose that team fight, you lose the game.
Yeah,
the base is already wide open, so definitely not willing to lose the game just yet.
Blaber's running away from the rest of the squad, though. If they find Blaber, they've got him there with the pillar. Guardian Angel will not do a damn thing. The entire passive just ends up buying him a couple extra seconds before the gray screen hits. 60 seconds that CLG has a 5v4.
There's one thing we've learned is that CLG will chase you to the ends of the earth. They get sight of anyone, chase them down. Now the 5v4 with the remnants of this Baron buff. There are 1 minute and 30 seconds left on this Baron buff. They can hard push.
Okay, Zven already popping that Zhonya's trying to avoid the Amumu ulti steal, but he's already going to be killed instead.
Up to Berserker.
Leads the charge as Berserker's looking to fire back. Fudge loses hysterics, loses his life, and
Luger.
Berserker has no way to fight back. He's got to go back and heal, but it's a triple in his game now for Counter Logic Gaming. 5v2 for the next 20 seconds. Blaber's coming back in a little bit here. Berserker still has Guardian Angel, but it's only him and Jensen against everybody.
All right, CLG, time to end it. Game number 2, the clap back.
All right, Contractz already taking the turret aggro there, just leading the charge. Everfrost flies out, Blaber's back alive. Berserker under pressure, Blaber jumping in. Berserker's about to drop, but Palafox gets himself away. Blaber dead again, still looking to find Berserker. They get the Guardian Angel, they get the Nexus, and CLG ties us up.
This is what the people expected. This is what the people want. Entertainment. Back and forth. This series now tied at 1-1.
Game 2, 43 kills, 44 minutes. Absolute bloodbath. Both these teams not afraid to fight at every single opportunity here. They're willing to scrap. They're both looking super confident. And we are getting such a treat here, such an exciting back and forth series. It's been awesome.
It's funny because, you know, people were wondering, can they keep up this pace, this action-packed pace at 7 minutes when there's 7 kills in the game? Wow, it's so interesting. They kept it up for over 40 minutes, a kill a minute in this series.
This is my contribution. I'm opening my eyes really wide and nodding my head. Yeah, that's my analysis.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I got the analysis of Ban Callista, and now I have nod my head. I'm ready to go. But now, during the 2022 Summer Split, you can use your MasterCard to make a purchase from the in-client store and save your card on file to be entered for a chance to win a trip to the League of Legends 2022 World Finals event or a set of 9 Player of the Week statues and a MasterCard prepaid card. Entry closes on September 4th. Wait, that's my birthday. That's sick.
Happy birthday!
No, we're not doing that. Let's go ahead and head on over to the State Farm Analyst Desk instead.
Thank you so much, Jensen. Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. CLG able to strike back in a very back and forth second game here in this best of 5. We're going to dive straight in to what we'll call the winning moment here. Palafox delivering the win and the Grubhub dub to the squad with some very intelligent target selection on the Sylas.
It had been a long time of Berserker kind of carrying fights, fight after fight after fight. Here, he baits the engage in, gets the stopwatch through, and then everyone kind of leaves him, and he goes, oh, there's the guy that's been wrecking us all these fights. He gets on top of Berserker, blows him up immediately, and from there has kind of secured the fight for his team, both wasting enemy engage and killing their primary threat.
Gotta love to see it. Now, the race for Chicago kicks off here, and you can't miss a second of the action if you want to keep up. Watch the playoffs live with your favorite meals from Grubhub. Order with code IGNITE10 for $10 off your order of at least $15 through August 21st for the first 1,000 orders. So make sure you get in there nice and quick.
Yeah, and I mean, this was so important because Berserker was already showing at that team fight when they were doing their first inhib push that he could easily take over any team fight on this Sivir. So eliminating him, you saw them try to do it in multiple fights. This was so important and so big coming from Palafox.
Especially the Amumu ulti, which is such high value. Throughout the game, I was missing it. The fact that Zven particularly was stopwatching or zone using the steal from the Sylas. I missed it. Rosie Online caught it. Actually, the casters themselves later on were able to catch it. It was actually really influential until
16, baby.
Boom. Hits level 16. He's like, wait a minute, I missed you the first time, but I'm going to get you the second time.
Like
that was
cool.
Yeah, you can see it churning up. It's like, oh, he's going to have it back. Just steals it back.
Whoops.
So I want to roll this all the way back to Champion Select now, given the fact that CLG with side select elected to jump over to blue and put high priority on that Lulu to start things off. Vi still being prioritized by both losing sides now in this series, and the Trundle will be the winning side of that matchup in both of the games so far in the series, Mark.
Vi looking scary for whoever drafts it.
I haven't liked either situation in which it's been drafted so far. I'm a little confused why there's such high priority, because I feel like it's one of the junglers that's easiest to counter.
Yeah, I think Vi, of course, is an easy go signal for the team, especially with Sivir, right? So I can see that, especially when you have Amumu to follow up. I think the biggest problem is pretty much what you said. When you pick it early, the enemy team can just send the Armada. In this case, it was Renekton, so it's hard to dive into him. Sylas now can steal your ulti. Trundle has always been the go-to pick against it. So, if you go in, it is almost guaranteed death. And it's really difficult to play out. So I think we've seen a lot of drafts where it's great. I didn't like this.
You don't even have to get to the Trundle to know this. First pick Lulu, and you're gonna play Vi into that?
That too.
The only worst support you can play into is Morgana.
So I like Vi when it's picked, when you see the full draft, or when you understand at least the theme the enemy draft is going into. In this case, it didn't make much sense.
Yeah, we're going into highlights now. Everyone knows that I am a Renekton enjoyer. I think he's really strong. I don't think I wouldn't pick him super early in the draft, but in this case, I really liked it, and they knew that they had to target this top side to get him going. So the Renekton Aatrox battle was really interesting, and I do think Dhokla didn't do necessarily as much with his lead as he could have, which kind of started some of the back and forth that happened.
Yeah, back and forth is the name of this game, where you would think that they would have the opportunity for CLG to cleanly close this out with the 2K gold lead they had around 15, and then team fights started popping off. There were a number that were so well played by Berserker. Palafox had a great game.
Yeah.
Luger was a little hit or miss. Sometimes he would go in because he knew that Berserker was such a threat, and it was just whether or not they actually pulled that play off. So it went from this game that felt pretty handily in CLG's favor to suddenly it felt like anyone could win at any moment.
Yeah, and I mean, Palafox was a star in a lot of these fights, but I do think for all of the criticism I just gave Dhokla for not being able to kind of snowball that advantage on the Renekton, he was such an important front line for the team in fights like this.
Yeah.
The reason why this game and this win for CLG excited me the most, though, and I'm pretty sure Emily's going to agree with me on this, is that it continues to follow the identity that CLG has shown us, which is a willingness to fight, right?
Yeah.
I love that in a best of 5, when they did lose game 1, that they decided to come back still playing to that identity that they had built, carved, and kind of crafted throughout the split, that they weren't quick to say, uh-oh, we got to find another answer to this Cloud9 squad.
Well, and they also just play aggro the whole time. They make
Right.
a mistake, and they're not like, oh, what do we do now? They're like, well, I guess we try again.
Go again, yeah.
Yeah, they keep at it. And I think the key to these games have been the early game and how it's kind of tilted in one team's favor or another. Like game 1, clearly in favor of Cloud9. This game, sure, the first blood went to Cloud9, but then even the return gank from Contractz really putting Fudge down and giving the lead to Dhokla. So then suddenly Cloud9 had to send multiple members topside, which made CLG's life easier on the bottom side of the map.
And Dhokla was doing some small things, like, for example, farming Raptor.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of keeping track of, everyone else on the map in those times.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just I was trying to get our best look at the spread. Yesterday we were talking about how much food was in the it was in the TL game.
Yeah, I when we went off to gather some food, I noticed a lack of bananas.
Lack of bananas.
And now after this, Cloud9 literally had 3 or 4 batches of bananas.
Get that potassium.
They took a lot of bananas.
You don't want to be cramping
up. Look at that.
There on
You
stage,
guys talk about that. I was looking at Dhokla's Know Your Pro. He's apparently a black belt in recorder.
Black belt in the recorder, recruited to join school band in 3rd grade.
Wow. We got a lot of black belts here in the LCS.
What is a ripstick?
I mean, he also
I think it's
he'd
the
be
thing with
playing in the NBA.
You know the stick that looks like a skateboard, but you have to like wiggle the back foot?
Oh, that's what that's called?
I think that's a ripstick.
I know what you're talking about. I've never known. And he'd be playing in the NBA if he weren't here.
If I weren't a top laner.
I love the confidence.
Yeah, if I weren't in the LCS postseason, I'd be in the NBA postseason.
Isn't he 5'5"? Isn't he 4 foot?
You think Dhokla's 5'5"?
Isn't he a midget?
The man is much taller than me.
He's tall.
That's not saying much.
He's taller than you.
We're going into the weeds over something that is totally unimportant.
How tall are you, Dash?
We are locked into a 1-1 series, and I'm going to stop you down with where you are right now, Rez, because it's going to surprise nobody, I think, that Cloud9 jumps back to blue side, right? Both teams have found success on that side so far in the series. I think my question becomes, is this the first departure we see from the jungle matchup that we've seen so far? I have to assume that Cloud9 will still like the Trundle look. I think the real question for me is whether or not Vi continues to be as prioritized as it is currently by the red side team in this series.
Well, Trundle is being used. I mean, yesterday's series, we saw Trundle used more of a blind pick. I understand that more junglers, they're going to be afraid of blinding Trundle because then the range will just destroy you. Wukong is still available. Like, Wukong, I actually think is a really strong blind and is not being picked as much as it should.
Yeah, Poppy was banned, but who knows if that's going to stick through. That was a CLG ban on that side. You also have the Viegos, you know.
The Zinzaos.
There's a lot of
there's still plenty of things, yeah. So it feels like they've got a lot left in the tank. Then if it's not about the jungle, where else would we like to see some changes? I know we weren't entirely sold on the Amumu mark, but you or I on the side of Cloud9 either in that game.
I liked their more lane-dominant look of Zven on or Enchanters or on the Ashe or things like that to try and win lane harder and just win out the gate.
Yeah, I think they held on to support till 4-5 when they already saw a first pick Lulu. I didn't really like that personally. So we can probably change it to something more conventional, maybe even see a Leona, who knows.
All right, well, the teams are going tit for tat. At the moment, 1-1 stands the series score. We are all tied up heading into Game 3. But as we step away, the Age of Dragons begins tonight with the premiere of House of the Dragon. Check it out.
I'm watching this.
Dragons will rule the 7 kingdoms for the next 100 years.
Everything that House Targaryen possesses is owed to it.
They are restless and chaotic.
Without them, we're just like everyone else.
This infighting must cease! The dragon's saddle is one thing. The Iron Throne is the most dangerous seat in the realm.
And the faithful shall be rewarded! This is gonna be it! Counter Logic Gaming, fighting every season since there has been one! Clear out the room, I'm coming through. Dhokla finds the first. Double kill back over to Big Dope. 2-0 CLG. Extra, read about it. Contractz made it look so simple. Palafox picks up the 4th kill of the game. Make it the 5th as well. Double kill Palafox. Poome. He'll be caught out a little bit here at first. Poome's able to find the 3-man knockup with a follow-up from CLG. Rat attack, tag, fire the gat. Luger's ready to go. Tukui heads for the hills, but those hills have eyes, and the eyes see you. Double kill plus